Well, I think it's good morning because it's after midnight. Yeah. So, hi, how are you today? Uh, today. Well, technically it's Sunday because it's after 12 midnight. So I'm popping on today. I'm so exhausted. Had an interesting day today and yesterday. You know, yesterday I went to the dentist. Well, I was running late, well, because parking is so difficult. And whenever I go to this dentist, sometimes I have to take a Uber because parking is so hard and I don't feel like driving around and around looking for a parking spot. And sometimes I drive myself, and when I drive myself, I end up looking for a parking spot. So I might be like driving around and around for 30 minutes or so, and then I end up getting late to my dental appointment. So I drove yesterday. It was, raining out and all, and as usual, I could have made it on time if I didn't have the parking problem. So I went driving around and around east, west, north, and south looking for a parking spot. So I ended up getting to my dental appointment like 30 minutes later, and she didn't see me because I arrived late. No one else was in the waiting room waiting, but the receptionist told me that I arrived too late for her to see me. So I say, okay, that's fine. And then the receptionist asked me if I wanted to make an appointment to come back. And I said, well, I'll call. Because really, all over New York, Brooklyn, Manhattan, all over the place, parking is really hard. And literally, sometimes I'm looking for a spot, even when I'm coming home, you know, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour. Sometimes I even fall asleep waiting for a parking spot when I'm trying to come home, from wherever I am. But back to the dentist. There are dentists all over the place. So I had an epiphany. I'm like, why am I going all the way over there to see a dentist when I have dentists in my area? Really, I could walk to dentists in my area. So why am I putting myself out and going into another area when like dentists are all around like roaches? You know what I mean? There's so many dentists in the place. So I'm not mad at the dentist for not seeing me because I arrived late, and I understand because appointment is appointment, although there was no one else in the waiting room but me. But when people have their rules and regulations, you have to respect that. But I say, you know what? I'm not gonna be like doing this because it's so much stress to be going there where I went to the dentist and then to have all this hard time trying to park. It is so hard. It is so frustrating. So that same day, yesterday, I said, you know what? Let me Google some dentists in my area. And I called, and literally, someone told me to come in. Well, today, I mean, which is yesterday now, which is like Saturday. They told me, oh, why don't you come in tomorrow, which is Saturday? Because my dental appointment was Friday to the dentist I normally would go to. And she didn't see me because I arrived 30 minutes late. So on that same day, to be honest with you, I was kind of annoyed because I went through a lot looking for a parking spot. And then I finally did get a parking spot. And I was blessed because the lady, I ended up, by the way, having to park at a parking meter. And then there was a lady pulling out, and she gave me her ticket, which had, she put money in the meter to park. So there were a couple of minutes left. So I used that to park in the spot. So I was blessed that way to get that, you know, because when I eventually got to the dentist, if I had to put money in there to go, I would have been seriously pissed off. After all the hardships I went to find a parking spot, I would have been seriously pissed off to put in money and then not be seen. But, I respect it. That's her practice. That's what she's into. And I have arrived late a couple of times because of the parking situation, and they know that. That's why sometimes I used to take a Uber, which is for those of you not in the US, which is a ride share. I would take literally a taxi. So I'm like, why am I spending money to take a taxi to go to the dentist? I'm like, so sometimes I did though, and sometimes I did not. But anyway, so on Friday I called and I got another dentist in my area and I went to see the dentist. They took me in on Saturday and now the rest is dental history. But anyway, that's my story. But I really was annoyed though, even though I do understand her scenario. In life, things happen that sometimes cause people to be delayed, and parking is a major problem in Brooklyn, and I'm sure in other areas too. But it is just so problematic. But all is well that ends well because I got a dental appointment the following day. Because I'm thinking about, closing up the gap a little bit, and stuff of that nature. But anyway, today let's just talk for a few minutes about euphemisms. And I'm 100% sure that everybody uses euphemisms every single day, but we just don't realize it. A euphemism is a word or words that people use, you know, to substitute for other words that could be embarrassing, harsh, not too pleasant words. So, and also to make something sound nicer than it is. Like for instance, there's a phrase they use for a garbage person. I think they call them. I forgot what they call them. Something engineer. Somebody out there might know it. I don't recall right now. Yeah, and instead of using like curse words that people use, you could use a euphemism to express your disdain for somebody else. All right. So right now I am just going kind of blank. My brain is going kind of blank. But let me think of a euphemism that you probably heard. Like instead of saying like he is they broke up, well he dumped her or whatever, he broke up with her, you might say, well, the relationship is on a break. Something like that. I just created that, okay? Instead of saying he died, you might say the person passed away. Those are, euphemisms some people use. Instead of saying the person died, you might say the person passed away. That's considered a euphemism, okay? Instead of saying going to the bathroom to like do to do the other people might say something else like, she went to, well, okay. I don't want to say the S word because that's not how I speak. So someone might say, oh, she went to, do a two or, poop or whatever. And right now, people, my brain is so taking taking a break right now. There's so many popular euphemisms out there. Let me see if I can find some here. Oh, oh, wait. Instead of saying someone is poor, you could say they're economically disadvantaged. You see how that works? Economically disadvantaged is another way of saying the person is poor. Instead of saying, well, look, I don't really like saying negative things about people, but you know, instead of saying someone's ugly, you could say the person is, not too pleasing to the eyes. Right? You see where I'm going with that? That's considered a euphemism. All right. Oh, I think I put this one on this live here. Instead of saying the car is certified instead of saying this car is well used, you say it's certified pre-owned. Instead of saying a used car, You kind of get the point. These are considered euphemisms. And when you break up with someone, right? Well, guys usually do this. It's not you, it's me, right? When they don't want to hurt your feelings, like something you did turn them off, and then they say, it's not you, it's me. That's a euphemism, okay? Matter of fact, I've used that line myself before, but usually guys use it, but I've used it before. Hmm. Here's one. I found this on the web. I thought this was nice. She's not a liar. She's just creative with the truth. So instead of calling someone a liar, you could say, he is just creative with the truth instead of saying that you're a liar. You're creative with the truth, right? All right, so let's see here. Instead of saying, and I've done this, I don't know if you have. Instead of saying I'm sick, I would say I'm under the weather. Under the weather, which means I'm sick. So there are different ways people use euphemisms. So on a serious note, well, I'm trying to be serious, but instead of using foul language and whatnot, profanity, you could say, like, instead of using the F words that people use, you could say, I'm trying to think of something someone could say. You could use something else that would mean show your contempt, okay? Is what I'm trying to say. I think you got the point. A euphemism. Euphemisms, they're simply words that replace words that might be embarrassing. It's substitution. You're substituting a less pleasing word for a more pleasing word or words. How's that? That's what a euphemism is. And I think you kind of got it. I mean, it's not complicated. Euphemisms are not complicated. So if you want to tell someone to shut up, whatever you say with the foul language, why'd you say, could you like close your mouth? Could you like, instead of telling someone like they have bad breath, what could you tell them as a euphemism? Yes, that way I'm going with that. Like, someone might feel offended if you tell them that they have bad breath, right? So instead of saying you have bad breath, what can you say to them that wouldn't be as, antagonistic? I want you to think about that and possibly get back to me with it. And let me see. I found some. Let me see. Oh, ooh. Here's some euphemisms that I never. Some of them I never heard of in reference to pooping. Well, I think we all heard of Answer Nature's Call, bake some brownies. I never heard of that. I found this on the internet. Bake some brownies. That's a new one. So instead of saying you're, going to poop, you can say, I'm going to bake some brownies. That to me is hilarious. Oh, here's another one. Build a log cabin. Huh. Clear the pipes. Code brown. I never heard of these. I'm sorry. I never heard of these. Cut a cigar. Those are words for going to the bathroom to do number three. I never heard of those. I have never heard of those. Oh my gosh. I think we all heard about Dookie, right? we heard of doo doo and like here's wait. Okay. Uh Turd. Yeah, we heard of that one. Well, anyway, I'm not gonna like let's get our mouths out of the toilet. 'Cause, lay some cable. I never heard of that one for going to the bathroom. Lay some cable. Oh, here's one, destroy the toilet. So that means by this person's just gonna blow up the place with like foul odor. Lay, destroy the toilet. Here's what I never heard. Download some software. Ooh, drop a bomb. I never heard of those. Oh, drown a brown snake. I never heard of these euphemisms for going to the bathroom to do number three. Go number two, I heard of that, I think. Evacuate your bowels. Oh, this one is hilarious. Lay a stink pickle. Lay a stink pickle. I have never heard of that for going into bathroom to poop. Oh my gosh. Papa squat. Huh. Huh. Strangle a Snickers? I have never heard of that. But yeah, we heard of take a crap, take a dump. Ooh. Unload some timber. I have never heard of that one. But anyway, there are a lot of ways to describe going to the bathroom to poop. There are a lot of ways. But anyway, simply put again, a euphemism or euphemisms are a word or words that substitute for other words that other people might find offensive, words that people might consider that's too embarrassing, too harsh, too uncomfortable. And sometimes when people are adults around small children, they use euphemisms because they don't want the children to really know what they're talking about. You know what I mean? So there you go. So you can have a lot of fun with euphemisms, like all the other literary devices, similes, metaphors, personification. What was the other one? Alliteration. Um, and here we have euphemisms. You can have a lot of fun with these with your family members. Matter of fact, you and your family members, you can sit down. I don't know, maybe you might think this is corny, and say a word and tell each other, hey, let's come up you come up and let's come up with 10 words or phrases that means this particular phrase that's kind of not too wonderful, and you could turn it into a game, and the one who comes up with the most creative and exciting phrase or sentences, you could turn it into a prize situation. Maybe it's just me, but I just have fun with these items because I think it's fun. Because it's fun. Words. When you go to, I don't know how many of you have been to like a comedy show. The comedians, they're funny, aren't they? They sometimes use euphemisms. They sometimes use metaphors, similes, you know, exaggeration, which is a hyperbole. These are all different types of literary devices you would hear every day in one form or the other. Even listening to the news, you're going to hear some literary devices. So, literary devices are everywhere. They're everywhere. You can't get away from them. But anyway, I hope I'm making sense to you guys. If you like what it is I'm sharing with you, or if you need further ex, uh, explanation of anything that I spoke to you about, feel free to let me know. I am Kathleen Fraser. So I'm gonna log off. I have had a long day because again, I'm rehearsing. We're at rehearsal, so I was at rehearsal. Then I went to visit my mom, and then I came home. Oh, by the way, you know what? I have what is called a VPN, and there's shows in Australia that I like to look at. So I downloaded the VPN and I'm on my cell phone. Sometimes when I'm on the gym and I'm on like one of the more calmer exercise machine, I'm looking at my Married at First Sight in Australia and or the UK. They are crazy. I think their format is interesting. In Australia, they're married at first sight is, I don't know how to put it. It might be a little more out there than the one here in the US. So I do have a tendency to look at Married at First Sight in Australia, and it's pretty interesting to me. It's one of the things that, you know, make me realize that no matter what race you are, have similar we all are people, you know what I mean? And race really doesn't matter because I've seen women of different races there getting treated pretty badly. You know, and I'm like, wow, wow. But anyway, I thank God for the wonderful, interesting week I've had. And now today is Sunday. Today's the start of another week. So I thank God for his goodness and his mercies, his blessings and his benefits. And I'll see you when I see you because I have to head in the shower and, just just, read the Bible, read the word and different things of that nature. So you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful night, morning, and I'll see you when I see you.